Somebody asked me for help the other day. They were desperate. They really, really needed my help. And guess what I did? If you think that I dropped everything that I was doing to help them, you're wrong. You know what I did? On the contrary, I totally ignored them. Totally ignored them. And I let them do whatever they were going to do. I have no idea how, if they resolved it. And I quite frankly do not care. So today, today I want to talk to you guys about why I don't really care to help people, especially when it comes to this tech stuff. And honestly, why sometimes I go out of my way to not help people. And I'm going to explain to you why, and I'm going to give you two stories. Though I'm going to tell you the whole story on the one that I just told you about, like somebody they really, really like they reached out to me, really, really wanted my help, and I saw what they were saying, and I was like, let me just go back to what I was doing. And I'm going to give you the story, the backstory on like the historical context on how I got to be this way where I don't take people seriously. I don't go out of my way to help them because, well, you'll find out. You'll find out. So, welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win. In today's episode, like I said, I'm going to be talking about a couple of stories on, when people ask me for help, the results of what normally happens, and it is a like the first the origin story behind it comes to a crazy conclusion that I will also share with you. But it's kind of crazy, and the way that people are with other people's time, they do not value it. And you guys know how I feel about my time. If you do not value my time, then you do not value me because for me, time is money. And to be fair, money is also money, but time is money. I can get the money back, but I cannot get my time back. So if you violate my time, you are violating my money. All right. So that is the plan for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really, really appreciate you guys. So let's get started with this. Let's get started. So I'll start with this story, right? So, last year around March, the same person who reached out for me desperately for help like the other weekend, they were interested in QA, and I had a free consultation, 15-minute call. Usually my free consultations end up to be like 25, 30 minutes because, I'm a little gracious. I like to hear what's going on and evaluate the person, see if I can work with the person. But so we had a conversation, and I was like, okay, well, sign up for coaching. You need help in QA. That's what I do. I've been doing QA for, the past 15 years. And I'll like, I will work with you. And it's okay, I'm going to sign up next week. Well, guess what? Next week turned to next month turned into the next 3 months, and so forth, right? And they're like, oh, so then they sent me another message like, hey, how can I, speak to you? I'm like, well, did you sign up did you sign up at least for the basic level tier of the Patreon? No, I haven't. Well, I'm like, well, sign up for that, and you can message me back and forth on Patreon. If you are if you're a Patreon member of the Tech Coach Ralph Patreon, and you are at the lowest paid tier, then any message you ever send me, I will always respond. I've given long responses. I've looked at resumes. I'm like, all right, just email me your resume. I'll take a look at it, like whatever it is that you need. But you gotta pay to play. So they signed up, and I would converse with them back and forth and help them out and stuff like that. Help them out in the sense of like, you have a question, I would answer it. But they never signed up for coaching, and they would always say, I'm going to sign up, I'm going to sign up, I'm going to sign up. Never did. Right. So that is the backstory on on the person who asked for help desperately the other day. Right. And I ignored them. So now I'm going to take you back to why we're going to go back in time to why I do not help people. What I do is I will make a so the way that I'll do it is I will look for what is the value in me reaching out to you and working with you. If you need my help, will I help you? Well, it depends on the value. What is the value added for me, as well as because I want you to get value too. And if the value is my help, well, I need to get some value in return. And before, years ago, when I was like, especially when it comes to people that right? Some people who even claim to be a family or a relative and stuff like that. And and the story goes like this. So maybe 6 years ago, someone says, someone that I know says, "Oh, I'm interested in learning about software development, software engineering, and I was thinking about taking this boot camp." And I'm like, well, I've been in this field for a long time. Why are you going to pay thousands of dollars for a boot camp? You could just go on what I always tell people, like just go on Udemy, get a course and follow that and learn it that way. And then if you still need the boot camp, like, so if you get a course for like 10, $20 and a full comprehensive course for 10, $20, right? I'll even put, if you're interested in full stack development, there will be a link in the description for the course that I took for web development, right? And I'm like, but they're going for full stack development. I'm like, well, you could just take a course and pay 10, $20 for it. And you don't have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to go to this bootcamp, right? And they said, oh, I like the fact that I'll get a mentor in the boot camp, and they're gonna, like, I have to pay like about probably $1,000 monthly because it was, anyways. So they go through it, and I'm asking them, like, so how is the boot camp going? It's like, oh, I just want to get through it. I just want to get through it. They had absolutely no care whatsoever for actually learning software development. Honestly, they just wanted to be able to put a title of software engineer on their email signature. That's the only reason that they took this bootcamp, right? But so they took it, and they're playing along. And they're building an app, I'll give them some feedback, like, hey, like, the design for this, the UI, it's not user friendly. It's like, oh, I don't really care about that. I just want to do something. I'm like, what are you like? Anyway, all right, cool. So we fast forward along. So they finish this boot camp, and they want to build an app. And they reach out to me because they know that I've been in tech for a very long time. They reach out to me, and they're like, hey, I was interested in, actually, before they even reached out to me, they reached out to a group of people. And they said, like, oh, we want to build this app. I want to build this app and, get better in this software development, and maybe build a company, where we build software and stuff like that. And if you guys know me, I am very, very OCD slash ADHD when it comes to like quality and organization, and like, because I might have something a mess right here, but something that's right here, it has to be perfectly in order. And you'll see me, but then the ADHD part where I'm deviating off the course because I want to explore something. You guys have seen the live streams, right? Anyway, let's not get into that. And I would be very attention to detail because being a QA engineer, like, you're always looking at the details and stuff like that. And they would just totally blow off the details. They, like, terrible software development practices, all that. And I'm like, well, okay, fine. But then all the people who started working on the project together, they all dropped off, and it was only me and that other person whose idea was it. So I'm like, all right, cool. Well, let's build this, and we're meeting on a regular basis. And so now I'm learning more about AWS. That was probably the first time I created an AWS Elastic Container Registry to host a Docker image, and I'm learning about React. Was it React? I think it was React, but I'm pretty much creating a backend API and all that type of stuff, right? And they're working on the front end, so I'm being very, very meticulous, all that stuff, right? And start putting something together, and then all of a sudden, right, out of the blue, like, oh, I might get this internship, so I'm not gonna work on this for a while. I'm thinking, like, wait a second, you asked me for help, And now because you might get some internship, which they didn't get, they did not get this internship, right? But like I might get this internship. So I'm gonna put this whole project on hold and never heard about it again, right? And I was like, so all these times that I mean, at least I got some a little bit more exposure to AWS, but all this time that was invested in your idea, you just drop it just like that, like absolutely no care, no value for other people's time, right? And and it's like for me, when I am looking to help people, or when I was looking to help people, and I'm investing my time, I'm like, because I'm busy, right? Allocating my time doing this, doing that. I could be working on my own stuff, and they just dropped it like a sack of potatoes. Like, well, I might be doing this internship, so I'm just going to put this on hold. And when when somebody puts something on hold, it doesn't come back. It does not come back. So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. At least I got to learn a little bit more about different technologies and stuff like that. So that is part of that backstory, and I'll end that story for you. I'll end that story for you towards the end. So so that experience, and you know what? It's not worth going so out of your way to help people if there is no value being reciprocated. What is the ROI? What is the return on the investment of my time in someone's idea or project or whatever, or even their life story? A lot of times people come and they try to tell me their story, and I'm like, okay, cool. It did like what happened yesterday for me. I do not let it affect my tomorrow. Okay, so so that is, but that is the one of the, and that's not the only instance of these type of things happening where you invest your time into somebody for so that you can help them, so that you can help them grow, and then they just drop it, disappear, whatever, but that one is memorable to me because that one, that per, this person, right? They even asked at one point, because and this is how this is how close, um that they would think that they were, where it's like, oh, I might be moving, I might need a place to stay for a while. Do you think I can stay at your house for a while? And thank God that they didn't, because once you hear how the story ends, you'll be like, oh wow, like that's their true color, you know. And so for me now, I'm like, I don't go out of my way. Like, I don't help people. And I try to go out of my way. Like when I make all the opportunities and resources available for me to work with you and you don't, I kind of go out of my way to not help you. Like it just gives me the sense like, I don't want to work with you. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care enough about whether you make it or not. And that's so when it comes to me, I focus on value added, right? My my channel is focused on adding value. And it's adding value to myself, it's adding value to you, to the viewer, on, whether it's like thoughts and ideas and mindset, or whether it's on, all right, technologies, whether it's on like, cybersecurity stuff to be aware of what's going on, building new software so that we can go through the process and see how it works. So I think about value added to myself, because when I'm adding value to you, that means you're adding value to my channel, my business, and everything like that. To me, that's a fair trade. But when people want me to take time out of my busy schedule to listen to their hopes, dreams, and aspirations, only to, they share it with a million people, but then, like like my song says, why do people hate success? When it comes time to do the work, then they get ghost, they get missing. And I just don't find myself participating in that. Some people say, "Oh, you got to do it for your people, for the culture, and all that stuff." I couldn't care less about any of that stuff. I don't have people. I don't have culture. I don't have none of that stuff. What I focus on is value, reciprocal value. I am willing to work with you if you are willing to work with me. And for me, it's like the return on investment, the value, it's not always like a monetary thing. It's for me, it's more of time, right? And if you bring value to me, then we can work together, you know? But so many times you end up in these situations where you want the best for someone who doesn't really want the best for themselves, because if they did, they would have done what you suggested a long time ago. But they want you to do the work for them. So I don't like all that talk about, where you're from, the situation, the circumstances. It means absolutely nothing to me. Nothing at all. Like I don't care, because I've reached out to many people in the past, not recently, but in the past. Like, oh, there's this idea, there's that idea. We should, and they're like, oh, just want to stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning playing video games. Like, all right, cool. Well, do what you do. You're an expert in something, but you don't want to make use of it, right? So let me continue with this story. All right, let me continue with this story. So what happens is they they send me a message, right? And honestly, they might be watching this, and and if you are watching this, then you know why I didn't respond, right? But I'm sharing this story not to throw shade on the person, because I don't care, like, but to let everyone know that the way that you carry yourself is going to be the way that people treat you. Okay. Now, some people, they're like, oh, it could be because of this reason and that reason. And guess I don't care about your reasons. I care about the way that you move, and I care about your actions. The reasons behind it, so the reasons only go so far, right? So, so this is what happened. Um, so this person, they contacted me early last year. They wanted coaching. I told them what I offer, cheaper than anything that you will find for one-on-one coaching, because I do it so that you can invest a little bit in yourself, so you can take it a little bit seriously. And you know what? Sometimes I think that the way that people are just paying money for coaching and then they don't take advantage, I should raise the prices, because I do not want to necessarily work. Like, I don't want to just take somebody's money. I mean, I will, but I don't want to just take it. I want to have the fair trade of, I'm helping you and you're paying for that help. Okay? So I told him, all right, this is the cost, this is how it works, and everything like that. He said, oh yeah. Like, I'm in this boot camp, I'm about almost finished with this, and then I'm gonna do this. I'm like, okay, well, fine, whatever. But if you want me to work with you, this is the deal. Cool. So months go by, and I don't hear from them. Then they reach out like, oh, I want to know if you can help me with this. I'm like, if you can answer this question. I'm like, well, look, if you want me to speak to you, you gotta join the Patreon, and you don't even have to be like a coaching person, but you just have to join, so that way you can message me back and forth, and I can talk to you that way, because I'm not going to be investing a bunch of time in you. Like, okay, cool. So they join, and they send me a message. I respond. So whenever they send me a message, I'll respond. Now let's fast forward to January, beginning of this month, January 1st. I see the notification that they have ended their Patreon membership, right? The lowest plan, they canceled. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I don't lose sleep over anything. Honestly, I don't lose sleep over anything. Right? So like, all right, cool. Like, no big deal, because they were the lowest tier anyways. Like, it's just like, they can get the information, I can respond to them. But it's no one-on-one coaching. Now, fast forward to a week later, I'm doing Scrum Night with my Tech Barbarians. That is the top tier coaching group, where we, I strategize with them, set goals, help them like gain practical experience by working on projects where we're doing it in the agile methodology. We have Scrum nights where we do our sprint reviews, our sprint retrospectives, and our sprint planning for our next 2 weeks. If you are interested in seeing a sprint review, you can sign up for the Patreon for free, and I make those available to everyone to see like what we're talking about, what we do. So I'm on a sprint review, right? Like maybe 10 minutes into the sprint review. We're planning for our next 2 weeks, and that video is going to be coming out in the Patreon soon. Um, and I get a message on LinkedIn, and I'm like, why is this person messaging me? So I go in and I check the message, like, hey, I need your help. I'm like, okay, what do you need my help with? And I know that this person has canceled, but I'm like, you know what? Let me go and double check to make sure that person canceled, and they did. And here's the funny thing: if they hadn't canceled, I would have they would have sent a message in the Patreon, so I could know that, like, you know, whatever they need help, and then I'd be more inclined to offer some help. But they messaged me on LinkedIn because they know that they canceled, and then they want my help. I'm like, what? So I'm like, all right, what is it that you need? And it's like, you're not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe this. It's totally crazy. It is totally crazy, you know. And they told me that, oh, you know, I am doing this part of the boot camp where I'm like writing automation tests using this framework, and that the boot camp instructors aren't available. They are not available on the weekends, right? And this is Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, right? Or Sunday evening, and they're not available on the weekends to help. So could I give him 5 minutes of my time to help him? I was like, and I'm telling you, I'm in the middle working with my tech barbarians, the group that you said you were going to join, and you didn't for almost a whole year. You've been saying you're going to join. You never did. I'm like, so I was reading it. I read it. I'm like, let me go back to my meeting. Let me just go back to my meeting. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. So you're telling me, so you're telling me that you pay probably $10,000 or so for this boot camp, and there is no one available to help you. So you want me to take time out of my busy schedule? Like, some days I am up at 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, and I don't go to sleep until midnight, sometimes 12:30 a.m. And then I have to do the same thing over again the next day. Because for me, it's about getting the job done. I got to do what I got to do. So you expect me to drop off the call that I'm leading for my tech barbarians so that I could help you, not even a customer, not even a client, because your boot camp instructors are not available on the weekend. Man, I'm like, this is crazy. This is that to me, that was utterly crazy, and not only crazy, super disrespectful. You canceled a few days earlier. Just the connection, the support, and then a week later, you want me to drop everything that I'm doing because you need help? This, am I wrong? Am I off? Am I wrong here? Should I have just, dropped what I'm doing and help him because he needed my help? For my people, for my culture, for what? For what? Not my culture. Not my culture. You know, how did it go in Living Color? Homie, don't play that. So with that, and it solidified it by something else that happened last month, right? So if we go back to the other story, to the person that was learning software development, the person who asked if, while they're transitioning to their other location, they were going to live in a different state, if they could stay at my house. All right, if they could stay at my house. So fast forward some years later, and I sent an email. I said, and this is like a group email, like many people copied on it, or not? Copied on it. And I said, look, the conditions of this particular endeavor that this group is in, the terms of this endeavor, like the operating procedures, they're not being adhered to. Please provide the group this list of stuff. And I listen, these are the things that are in violation, right? Can you please provide the necessary, like the compliance needed to take care of this? And this is supposed to be somebody who is super professional, super business, yada yada yada. Like they gas themselves up like they are the second coming. That's what they think of themselves, right? And I'm like, well, can you at least comply with your own set of rules that you prepared for your business, right? And I said, all right, and please acknowledge that because this person will they will not like. There's been many people who have asked some questions over the past year, and they just totally ignore them. I'm like, please, all right, please acknowledge that you've gotten that you've gotten this email by this particular date, all right? And um they responded. Believe it or not, they responded. I was shocked. They responded within like maybe the same day or the next day, right? And they said this is like I can't say 100% what they said because we're on YouTube here, but they said, "Here is your acknowledgement. Here's your acknowledgement to the email that I sent them to be in compliance with their own set of business rules that they set in place. Here is your acknowledgement." Right? So keep in mind, this person asked for my help. You know what? I almost forgot this. This is how much they asked for my help in the past. Asked if they could stay at my house for a little bit. Asked to work on their software development project with them. Asked me to build their website, 2 different websites, host it for them, all types of stuff, right? And now, when I'm asking them to comply for the group of their business endeavors, like of the rules that they've set in place, like, hey, can you just comply with what you said, like, with your operating procedures for your group, right? They said, here is my acknowledgement to your email. And then they said 2 words right after that. Reply to all. Everyone who I copied on the email, they just hit reply to all. Here is my acknowledgement to your email, right? And then they ended it up with 2 words. Can you guess what those 2 words were? Can you guess what those 2 words were? If you guessed the first word starts with an F, you would be inclined to be correct. I would have to give you your flowers on that. So asking people to do what they said they were going to do, people who asked you to if they could sleep at your house, if you could help them with their projects, if you could build their website for them, if you could build multiple websites for them, if they could borrow your car, if all this different type of stuff, right? Now, you ask them to do what they said they were going to do, and they said, here is my acknowledgement to your email, and the 2 words follow. So now, when I'm like, I don't care about your problems, whoever you are, whether you're trying, whether you want me to drop everything that I'm doing and help you with automation stuff when you've been wasting your time for a whole year. No, I'm not doing that. There's no value added to me in that. And that's why I say for you, look for the value that's going to be added to you. You don't just go, oh, because for my people, your people don't care anything about you. Your own family doesn't care anything about you. Your own family doesn't give two flying about you. So because if if they can use you, if you allow yourself to be used, then you will be used. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So and that's why that's why when this person who asked me, like, had a consultation call, free consultation call last year, said they were going to get one-on-one coaching over and over and over again. Still continue to try to reach out to me like I owed them something. I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know you. Right? So why do you expect for me to go out of my way to help you when I don't know you? And even if for people that I do know, I still don't really go out of my way for them at this point. I don't I am very, very, very careful with who I have as friends, who I'll drop what I'm doing for to go and help them out. So I was like, "Oh, you need help? Okay, cool. Well, you had the opportunity to get help for the past 8 months or however long it was, and you were doing something else. So now go ahead and figure it out on your own. Find somebody who cares." That's the way that I see it. So remember now when you see me saying that I don't like I'm not going I'm not I don't not trying to help you, stuff like that. I am adding value. I am doing what I can. Like hopefully I'm adding value in the projects that I do. And if you come and work with me one on one, then I'll do whatever it is that you need for me to do to help you grow, to help you win. But just because you need it, nah. Because remember, when I asked when I asked somebody that I have helped plenty of times throughout the years to just comply with their own set of operating procedures, they said, "Here is my acknowledgement," and two words that followed. And those words are not good morning. They're not good morning. All right. So that is my thoughts for today. That is my candid conversation. That is why I do not go out of my way. That's why I don't help people. That's why I go out of my way sometimes to even not help. Because sometimes you have to watch them suffer for them to come to the light. You know, a family member said to me, "Yeah, we have to pray for them." I said, "Trust me, I pray for them." I just think my prayer is very, very different than your prayer. anyways, enough of that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate your time rocking with me as much as you have. Hopefully I am able to continue to add value into your life. Hopefully you find this helpful, informative, getting the right mindset, getting that killer mindset, and that the tech stuff that we do on this channel is helping you level up in your career as well as your technical skills. Do me a favor on your way out if you haven't done so already. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time that we go live and drop new content. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, if you do not want me to just ignore you when you are begging for help, then go to techcoachralph.dev, sign up today. Even at the lowest paid tier, I will answer any question that you have. Any question that you have, right? But if you really want to run it up, then sign up for one-on-one coaching. There's 2 tiers available. Sign up for one-on-one coaching. Then I will be more than happy to help you in all of your endeavors. All right? That's what you got to do. techcoachralph.dev. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Have a strong, strong week. This is Tech Coach Ralph. We are out.
I'm I'm so tired of being taken advantage of. Haters love when I give, when I'm staying underpaid. But when I'm winning, I'm forgotten. They say I love you, but they're plotting.
Don't scream out that I love you. Show me who you are first, 'cause I really hate to trust in you when you end up being so hurtful.
They say it's family over everything, right? Well, to me that really means nothing if they're not loving, no.
And it's family over everything, right? Well, to me that really means nothing if they're not loving.
They are the very ones who know how to break us down, who can put us down in the worst way.
When you scream out that you love me, show me who you are first, 'cause I really hate to put up with you when you end up being so hurtful. They say it's family over everything, right? Well, to me that really means nothing if they're not loving, no. And it's family over everything, right? Well, to me that really means nothing if they're not loving. They are the very ones who know how to break us down, who can put us down in the worst way. When you scream out that you love me, show me who you are first, 'cause I really hate to put up with you when you end up being so hurtful. They say it's family over everything, right? Well, to me that really means nothing if they're not loving, no. And it's family over everything, right? Well, to me that really means nothing if they're not loving, no.